known for its...
Champions All is host to 11 countries who've gathered here at Wembley this afternoon for this prestigious international tournament. We'll be watching star gymnasts from the USSR, the USA, China, Japan, Romania, Bulgaria, West Germany, France, Hungary, Spain, and of course Great Britain. Hello, welcome to Wembley Arena and to an afternoon of top-class gymnastics. Well, we saw the emergence of some great new talent at the World Championships in Montreal last November. I think you'll recognise some of those faces here this afternoon, and with them some even younger gymnasts who will certainly be gracing the Olympic arena in 1988. Watch out particularly for Romania's Camelia Voinea, one of the best on the asymmetric bars. Camelia looks set to follow in the footsteps of Nadia Comaneci and Katie Szabo. Her strongest challenge will probably come from 14-year-old Tatiana Godenko, the USSR national youth champion. Britain's hopes lie with Sally Lana. 17-year-old Sally is in peak form right now because she's just returned from a training trip to the top Russian gymnastics school in Moscow.
I just took part in the Moscow News. I think there was about 35 countries, so it's a big competition. There was 80 gymnasts, and we all did quite well. I came 14th. I was the top Western European. And also, I won the Miss Moscow News.
Wonderful! What does that mean?
I think it's the most charming gymnast in the whole competition.
Well, congratulations, Sally. Well, we wish Sally the best of luck, and we'll have a chance to see how she gets on a little later in the programme. But we start with the men's competition. The leading contenders here should be the Chinese national champion, Guo Linsheng. And from the USSR, Alexander Kolivanov, their national youth champion. Andrew Morris from Swansea was Britain's top scorer in the Montreal World Championships. Twice British national champion, he's also in fine shape and hopefully stands a good chance of getting into the medals.
Well, I think anybody in this kind of competition at this standard can get in the medals because they're all national champions and they're all capable of getting in the medals. It'll be whoever makes a mistake, really. So hopefully if I have a good competition and a consistent one, and I could have just as good a chance as anyone else.
Well, every gymnast from time to time has trouble with maybe one piece of apparatus or another. What is it that you're perhaps least looking forward to this afternoon?
The end of the competition, the high bar. The last few competitions I've missed my release, and that's not a good thing to happen, you know, not two competitions in a row. I had a competition last weekend that I missed, so you know, that's at the back of my mind today, really.
Well, all the best to Andrew too. We're just about ready to start the men's competition. The first piece of apparatus is the floor, and we begin with the young Russian 14-year-old Alexander Kolivanov. Over to our commentators then, John Taylor and Monica Felt.
Well, normally we'd be saying what an ordeal for this young 14-year-old Alexander Kolivanov from the Soviet Union leading off in the competition. But he's already proved his ability in the big occasions. Finished 4th in the Moscow News tournament, the biggest invitation international of the lot. He's already put in a triple twist. That's incredible power into such a small frame. Just 4 feet, 5.5 inches tall. Monica, so used to seeing the Russians bringing out these new phenomena, but he really is something different to everything we've seen before.
Yes, quite different, something very, very spectacular, and so young, only 14 years old. And a very unusual opening tumble in a men's championship, a front somersault walkout, Arab spring flick-flack into a triple twisting back somersault, and that was beautiful technique.
Morris from Swansea starts his competition, the British champion in 1983 and 84. Runner-up in 85 to Terry Bartlett. Well, he was having trouble with that in practice, but he landed it well enough in the competition proper. Yeah, that single twist, and then it's the punch straight into the front somersault that makes it a high tariff move.
Andrew really has worked on his form in this last year. His extension and mobility greatly improved. And here's an example of that.
Yes, it really does change the balance from being something they're forced to do and don't like into something of grace. And the double back to finish. Good start for Andrew Morris.
Andrew Morris steaming down there into his first tumble, the flick-flack. There's the full twist, finishing with the back somersault and just landing it in time and neatly. And a score, 9.1.
Borislav Hutov from Bulgaria, a veteran of 3 World Championships, finished 21st in Montreal last November. Oh, and that's a disastrous start, going for the very difficult big double straight back somersault, the layout somersault, and really got nowhere near it.
I think Johnny's lost a lot of weight and power since Montreal, don't you?
Yes, I think he's been working on a very hard training schedule, and this competition perhaps come at the wrong time.
Certainly looking extremely fit and mobile. And this is the problem sometimes when the gymnasts try to increase their mobility, they do lose power.
Well, he was one of the favourites for this competition, but a bad start. He must land this well. Gets over. Not a great deal of height, but safe on that final tumble. Borislav Hutov from Bulgaria. Here's an interesting character, Guo Linsheng from China. He was the national champion in the first half of last year. The Chinese hold 2 such championships a year, and the only ones of their top gymnasts who didn't take part were Tong Fai and Li Ning, but he didn't make the team for Montreal, so things went badly wrong in the second half, and we haven't really seen him in the West before. Well, how's that for openers?
Guo is 20 and has been doing gymnastics since he was 8 years old. So quite a master at his sport. Beautiful planche balance on his fingertips there. And notice the supporter strappings on his ankles. Very well paced routine. It's not rushing. The final tumble. A nice high double back tuck somersault. An excellent routine there from the young Chinaman.
Well, a great start for Guo Linsheng. Just look at the power here. That double straight back opener. Just one little step back, but a very, very difficult tumble. And his score, 9.35. He takes the lead. The fair-haired Spaniard, Alfonso Rodriguez de Sadia. Good power there in the opening tumble. That full in back out somersault, almost compulsory now. in the men's floor exercise. Or a nice, very tight tuck there in the second double back.
Really quite a startling worker on the floor exercise. But men really have to be all-rounders. They have 6 disciplines to conquer. And they really have to be good on all 6.
And a double pipe back to finish. His tumbles excellent. Good style in all of them. Little Alexander Kolovanov onto the pommel horse. Look at that shape he gets there. Those legs locked together. You'd think he had splints on until he splits there into the flares. Oh, and a lovely swing into those shears. Beautiful work. It looks impossible that he's got strength enough to do this sort of work. 1.5 pirouettes and off. That is a beautiful exercise. 14-year-old Sasha Kolovanov, as he's known at home.
And Kolovanov has to take a mighty jump onto the apparatus. It's so high, according to his height. Beautiful travel along and lovely tight form. Just look at those legs. It looks as though he's got splints down his trousers. And he gets 9.5 for that wonderful routine. Alfonso Rodriguez from Spain in second place after the floor exercise to his second discipline, the pommels. He can make this piece look very good. He's got nice long legs. Very complicated work in between the pommels and a nice straight arm lift to handstand.
Oh, it's a pity there. Just lost it, lost the tension in the legs. Is struggling to finish, but he's made it. The first 2/3 of the exercise, very good indeed. And then fell apart a little bit towards the end. Andrew Morris in third place after the floor. Good start for him. Become a very, very reliable pommel worker. Not quite as fluent as I've seen him, but no question of him coming off at the moment into those flares. And up through the handstand position to finish with. Not a good, very competent exercise. Not the best, but that'll do at this stage of the competition.
The very experienced Borislav Hutov coming to pommels, hoping he can make a better job of pommels than he did of floor. Trailing down in 5th position after floor. Still not going too well on here either.
Needed all his experience to stay on the pommel horse over that first section, going for that split leg front circle. He's really walking them round. There's no rhythm there at all, but somehow he's got through it. Really well done for Hutov.
Guolin Chen was the leader after the floor exercise, and he really will want to put in his best performance, because I'm sure he doesn't want to be beaten by the diminutive Russian. Looking at the apparatus with contempt. He really wants to attack this routine. Whoops, and he did. Slipped straight onto his front.
Well, that's a disaster. So easy to attack it too much. Gymnasts got a choice as to where to put in their difficult elements in the routine. And on this piece in particular, I always think it's worth getting some sort of rhythm going first. Finished it beautifully, but he knows that that is going to be a tremendous hurdle to overcome. Lin Chung's routine falling apart right at the start. Look, goes straight into that very difficult double leg front circle, caught his knees on the end of the pommel, and he's off, and he's paid the penalty. 8.7 his score. Honda Marimasa. Pommel horse, his second piece. Good rhythm, good form. Now he's cheating it, just bending those legs to get them through. Oh, and that's a nice switch there. Didn't quite work as fluently as he'd have liked, but a nice variation on that change from the rotational movement into the shears. And he's through it cleanly. 4 feet 5.5 inches. How does he get up onto these rings? Look at that, his coach having to actually lift him above his head. Now, this is a key piece of apparatus for him. In the Moscow News Championship, he was in the lead coming to this piece, which was his last piece in that competition, and he made a mess of it and slipped to fourth. There, the Azarian cross. No problems there. The swing to handstand, through it, double straight back dismount, lands it beautifully. A little nod as if to say, well, I didn't make a mess of it that time.
West Germany's Ralph Kern to the rings, having had unfortunate disasters on 2 pieces of apparatus. If he gets through this, it'll be something of a personal triumph.
Oh, look at the effort that went into holding that cross.
I think perhaps Ralph isn't as fit as he might be for this championship.
A little bit out of his class. That's better. The Honma move there, performed very cleanly. Has a breather in the straddle half lever. And finished it nicely. Much better exercise from him.
A rather dejected Borislav Hutov going to the rings. He's pulled himself up to 3rd place so far, but on his form, I'm sure he knows that he could have been in the lead. Made some stupid mistakes. But it's no good reproaching himself for those errors. He's really got to concentrate with the job in hand and see how high he can climb up the ladder. Very positive straddle there. Acts as a breather and demonstrates mobility. The Russian lever, straight lift to handstand. Now building up the giants for his dismount. Just a double back straight. Something went wrong. Got a bit of elbow bend and he really couldn't escape.
Guo Lin Chung to the rings. Slipped to 6th place after the pommel horse. Started really well, 9.35 on the floor, but then slipped back with a fall on the pommel. If he's to make any impression on the medals in this competition, he can't afford another mistake at all.
Extremely well-controlled work. Nice straight arm lifts to handstand. Having said that, he just lost his control. Finding it difficult to get the tension in his back, what rings is all about, but a beautiful dismount. Double back somersault straight, and really quite a good routine.
Andrew Morris onto the rings after Pommel Horse in second place, and he's already seen Kolovanov, who's leading him, go on this piece. He needs 9.1 to take the lead, well within his capabilities. Lovely control on that lift there. The swing to handstand down into the inverted cross. And there, the classic cross position.
Andrew really looking on good form. Tremendous competitor, and if he knows there's a chance of getting up to the gold medal position, then we know he'll give everything.
A tremendous control there on the landing. A couple of times on the rings I've seen him throw it away on that landing, but he got it dead right that time. Very steady rings exercise. Now building up to the dismount. There's the full twist. Double back somersault. Look at that. Lands it perfectly. Stretches into it. 9.2. He's in the lead.
Andrew has 27.50 points. He's leading slightly ahead of Guo Linsheng of China and Alexander Kolovanov of the USSR, both on 27.35. And Bulgaria's Borislav Hutov is in fourth place with 27.25. Welcome back to the Craft Champions All. Leading the field is our own Andrew Morris. We rejoin the men on the vault, so let's now go back to Monica Phelps and John Taylor.
Alfonso Rodriguez de Sadia, good speed on the runway to the vault. Cuervo vault, a little bit untidy, but landed it quite cleanly.
Alexander Kolovanov coming to vault, and one wonders how he's going to get over it. The men have a restricted run, only one chance, and on a long horse. And he copes with it in the form of a full twisting Sukahara.
Four feet 5.5, pounding down the runway. There it is. He has to actually travel along the horse to get off at the end. Full twisting Sukahara, but only 8.9 for that low dismount.
To vault Honda Maramasa from Japan. A very nice Cuervo vault there with a straight position in the middle, then into the pike. An extremely powerful gymnast. And Andrew Morris now in the lead. He took the lead after his ring routine, and now he wants to hold on to it. Only one vault. He's got to do it well. Oh, and what a landing. Full twisting Sukahara, and not a murmur on the landing.
Andrew always has had beautiful aerial awareness, knows exactly where he is in the twists and the turns. And today he's spot on with everything. He's coming out of his somersaults and his twists absolutely perfectly. Andrew in tremendous form. Good concentration, good plant onto the horse, good lift off, and look at that beautiful landing. And a score 9.4, that keeps him in the lead. Borislav Hutov on the vault, he's in fourth place. One arm, tuck Sukahara.
Alexander Kolovanov on the parallel bars. Had to take a mighty leap onto the apparatus once again. It stands at 5'4", and he's only 4'5", a 9-inch difference there. Oh, what a shame. Some fabulous stuff, and then he just missed a hand and dropped straight to the floor.
Going for a very difficult move there. Flying back somersault on the end of the parallel bars. But look how cool he is. A 14-year-old, you'd expect there to be some sort of show of emotion abroad for the first time in a big competition, but no show of emotion, and straight into that very complicated dismount. A little dejection there, but typical Russian approach to gymnastics. You take it all in your stride, you show no more emotion. Here we are, here's the moment of truth for Kolovanov. Everything going superbly to this point, then goes for that flying back, misses it totally with his right arm, and he's off. And he's paid the penalty, 8.85. That drops him back really badly. Right, fingers crossed, everybody. Andrew Morris onto the parallel bars in the lead, 0.15 ahead of Guo Linsheng, and little Alexander Kolovanov's dropped right back to 5th after his mistake. Andrew obviously nervous. One mistake already, it's not disastrous, but he can't afford any more. Heeley turn, beautifully done. Nice pirouette. And that's important, and a good landing. Now, how much are they going to take away for that mistake early in the exercise? Some new work there from Andrew. But we could be in sight of the first British winner of this competition. A crucial mark, this one.
And the mistake coming very early in Andrew's routine. On the third move, he gets this handstand. Then a flying back to handstand, and nearly misses his hands. There it is, and he walks along the apparatus, splits his legs, and that costs him. And the score, only 9-0.
Well, after that mistake by Andrew Morris, Borislav Hutov suddenly in with a chance of glory. 9.25 here, and he'll take the lead. 2 long circles. He's allowed to bend the legs to get them through. Straddle front somersault. Oh, and that could be good enough. He's certainly going to be up in the 9s with that. Well, this is where you see the experience of Hutov. Andrew Morris opened the door for him, and he makes absolutely no mistake. That lovely straddle front somersault. Good form, the cut through, holds it. And there it is, 9.45. He takes the lead. Guo Linsheng with the chance to take over the lead. Suddenly it's Borislav Hutov, who's the pace setter in this competition. He's overtaken Andrew Morris. Guo Linsheng will score 9.45 to overtake him, and 9.2 to overtake Morris. But it's really tight. It's certainly all going to be on the high bar, the last piece of apparatus. He's lost it there, sat on the parallel bar. Major mistake. And a step back there. Major mistake in the middle.
Linsheng had his opportunity here. He could have taken the lead with a steady routine. He pressed into handstand and got his control, and this is where he makes the mistake. He straddles around his hands and sits on the bar, which is a technical fall, and he loses 0.3. 3/10 of a mark gone on that. And the score, only 9-0. Csaba Fajkus onto high bar. Been very difficult for him to concentrate on the competition. There's been such a fight for the medals at the last minute. The competition totally changed.
Watch this sequence. We've been watching him in practice there. only the second time in the world that we've seen that move done. The one-arm giant, Ginga somersault, and then a one-arm catch. The only other man to have done it, his countryman, Zolt Borkai. But however good his work here, I'm afraid it's all far too late for Chaba Faikuz at a really messy and a double twisting double back to finish. Some marvellous work there on the high bar. Obviously a great high bar specialist, but he must be an all-rounder to be at the top in world gymnastics. Andrew Morris congratulates him.
And a closer look at this one-arm catch of Faikuz's. Only done before by his countryman, and there it is, releases from the left hand, catches from the right hand. A brilliant move. Alfonso de Sadia to high bar was lying fourth after vault. And a really good routine could get him into the medals. That was meant to be a one-arm catcher, but he really didn't straddle his legs wide enough. The coach there allowed on the podium, as long as he doesn't touch his gymnast. Oh, and a triple somersault, very well landed. Rather long though, but a very good routine, and could that get him into the medals? I think he could just squeeze in. Alexander Kolovanov. Really brilliant young gymnast being lifted onto the apparatus again. He needs a bigger courage factor than anybody else because he's far farther away from the floor. It's dropped down into 5th position, but beautiful Ginga there.
It really does look like a little toy going around the high bar there. Lovely pirouette. A tremendous mobility in his shoulders. Now for the dismount. What's it going to be? Double straight back. He had plenty of height, but he got it wrong. Big step forward. He'll struggle with that to get into the medals. Andrew Morris chalking up his hands for his last piece of apparatus, the high bar. He's in the silver medal position at the moment, just 0.25 off the pace. His rivals, Borislav Hutov and Guo Lin Sheng, still to come. He needs the high bar routine of his life now. We've never had a British winner. 2 champions all. Go for it, Andrew. Staying in control at the moment. Beautifully high there into the Jaeger. Came a bit too close out of it. Is he going? And there it is. He's landed the Tong Fai dismount absolutely perfectly. Now, how big was the mistake that he made in the landing out of the Jaeger somersault? A very tense moment, but that dismount was absolutely perfect. Let's look at that dismount again. Morris learned it from the great Chinese gymnast Tong Fai in Montreal. Building up to it. There he goes. Quarter turn, side somersault, 3/4 turn, and a perfect landing. No wonder he punches the air, and he scored 9.4. He's in with a chance of gold. Well, the arena absolutely silent. A very knowledgeable group of spectators. I'm sure they've been doing their sums, although the PA announcer doesn't tell them who's in the lead. It's unfair, but Hutov now 9.2. He needs to overtake Andrew Morris. Good intricate changes there on the one-arm work. Safely through the one-arm Ginga. It's looking too good at the moment for Morris to take it. There's got to be a mistake here. Oh, and he got one Now we've got to wait. He went for the triple dismount. He put his hands down. How did you see that hands down, Monica?
Well, I would think he lost 3/10, but he really did excel in difficulty in the middle of the routine, so we'll have to see how the judges see it. Unfortunately, it looks as though he's injured his ankle as well on the landing.
I think you're right that they'll only take 3/10 away. A full fall would take 0.5 away. Came in short. Nasty position on which to land. Everybody waiting and watching that high bar scoreboard. Hutov's dismount again. The triple back somersault. Now, how hard does he touch down? It's not really a fall. I can only see them taking away 0.3. Is it going to be enough? No, there it is, 9.2. He's won by the narrowest of margins. Hutov, the champion, by 0.05 of a point. Andrew Morris steps forward to take his place in the silver medal position. What a competition he had. Just that one small slip on the parallel bars, but at this level of competition, that's all it takes to lose out on the gold. The most experienced gymnast in the field, Borislav Hutov, 24 years old, veteran of 3 World Championships, steps forward to take the gold medal position in the 1986 Men's Craft Champions All.
A look at the final scores tells us that Borislav Hutov of Bulgaria is the winner with 55.35 points, so he gets the gold. Silver goes to Britain's Andrew Morris with 55.30 points, just 0.05 behind. And Guo Linsheng of China gets the bronze with 54.50 points.